Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to Harry's Highlights. On this video, we're going to talk about the book, The Power of Habit. Now this is all about understanding why we do what we do in both life and business. See, habits control our life. They are the reason why we do so many things that we do. They're our brain's way of making things more efficient. So anything that we do, and it's all programmed by our brain. So it's also everything that we not do is also programmed by our brain as well. So the routine that you have in the morning when you wake up, that's all something you've programmed. You've decided that through, multiple days of doing things, you found the most efficient way that works for you in the morning is that you might wake up, you might wash your face and have a shower. Maybe you wake up, have a coffee, eat some breakfast. Whatever your system is, that is a habit that you'll do most days based on trial and error over a period of time. So sometimes you have good habits, sometimes you have bad habits. And the point of it is about managing those habits in a way that you are aware of them all. So you've got to replace negative habits with a positive one. So that's easier said than done, but don't allow other people to discourage you from replacing your bad habits with positive ones. Too many people say, no, don't worry about it, you don't need to put the effort in, you'll be fine and things like that. But to really reach true success, to really keep pushing forward and achieve higher, reach your maximum potential, you need to be fully aware of all your weaknesses as well as your strengths. Some of those weaknesses include bad habits. Understanding though that depending on where you are in life will depend on how many habits you have, how many bad habits you have. See, every habit is a three-part process. You have the cue, you have the routine, and the reward. You have something that triggers that habit loop. So your morning routine is triggered on you waking up. You wake up and then instantly, some people they might instantly go to the toilet, they might instantly have a shower, they might instantly start cooking breakfast. But whatever it is, it's triggered and they'll go through that. They'll have the cue, they'll have the routine, and the reward at the end of it. So the same thing happens with positive and negative habits. So with negative habits, you need to be focusing on what cues or what triggers that habit loop. So if your negative habit is that maybe second you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is eat sugary food, you need to replace that with a positive one. So immediately, you need to have prepared in some way some positive habit. So whether that be a healthy breakfast or whatever it is, you then have that prepared and remove the negative habit, remove the option of a negative habit there to start training yourself to perform that positive habit. See, so you also the other part, there's the other tool or trick that's going to help make things easier is to surround yourself with people who have the habits you want. So if you're looking to become successful, you're looking to become wealthy, you're looking to reach your maximum potential, you need to surround yourself with other people who do the same thing. Other people that are successful, wealthy, or trying to reach their maximum potential, even if they're not there yet, even if they're just people that are on that journey, they're the people you need to surround yourself with so that you can start moving in that direction as well. It's far easier to move in the direction that other people are going than against them. So, which brings you to the next one, where you've got to turn your willpower into a habit. So it's very easy to give in and not do what you need to do. So you have to, when that situation happens, you have to turn on willpower, and you have to make that a habit. It has to be something that triggers when a negative habit sort of comes on board. You'll then start to turn on your willpower so that you will overcome that habit, that negative habit, and replace it with a positive one. And willpower can be your positive habit. It can be not always replacing it with something physical, but something as simple as your willpower can be what you need to replace a negative habit with. But understand that willpower is a muscle, so you have to train it. So it's not something that's going to work straight away. It's something that you're going to have to work on. And understanding that the willpower is something that will grow and develop over time, and that with you always work on being aware of it and training it, you'll eventually get better and stronger at it and become like your second nature. See, when you understand that, when you can start to break down everything in your life into its individual habits, you can work out and recognize what the trigger is for all of those habits and what causes them, and then you can start to swap them out and adjust them and fix them and improve them in ways that are going to take you towards the best you can be. And that takes a lot of self-awareness. The other part of it is that once you have that self-awareness, is then maintaining the consistency and persistence of maintaining those habits. So you've got to understand that with those, with training yourself to be persistent with that is an ongoing process. After a certain period of time, it'll eventually become second nature. But in the meantime, there'll be that growing process where you're going to have to get through it. And you're going to have to work at it. It's going to take time. So what you need to do is you need to be patient and give yourself time to succeed. Give yourself the chance and time to be able to overcome those negative habits, train positive habits, and eventually it will become a second nature. It'll become your new positive habit, which will be triggered by whatever situation, and you'll move through the cue, the routine, and the reward of having a positive habit. So, but that's a process and it takes time. But some of the things that you can do, we talked about those tips and tricks, is that even though it's easier said than done, it's something that you can eventually make happen. So, understanding that like habits are within your control, and habits are things that you do. So understand that the habits affect all parts and areas of your life, and that they will happen over a period of time. They develop, and they'll also be replaced over a period of time as well. So you just have to remain patient, remain persistent and consistent with it, and compound the results over a period of time, and you'll eventually reach those results you can be proud of. But it's going to take a little bit of time to make that happen and to do. So I guess to quickly summarize with everything I just spoke about here, you've got to talk about, what I spoke about there was that why we do what we do in life and business is all based on our habits. See, we program our brain with everything we do and everything we don't do. And you've got to allow, like, remembering that like habits are difficult, but are difficult to overcome. Like negative habits are difficult to overcome. But you can't allow someone to discourage you from replacing your bad habits with positive ones. Let them do them and you do you. And then every habit is a 3-part process. You've got the cue, the routine, and the reward. And once you understand that, you can then break down each part, and then you can overcome it piece by piece. Anything in life, if you break it down, you can overcome it. It can be manageable. The other part that we talked about was that you've got to surround yourself with people who have the habits that you want. So if you're surrounded by people that are on the journey to success, it makes it easier if that's the same journey that you want to take as well. If you have people around you that are already wealthy, already successful, already have positive habits, it's going to be easier for them to encourage you and for you to achieve the same thing. Then you got to turn willpower into a habit. It's got to be something that you are consciously aware of and you develop over time, and that you turn on. It's something that you've got to be, like, willpower is something that you're aware of. It's not always something that happens naturally. It eventually will over a period of time, but just not straight away. Then the second thing is about, you've got to train your willpower like a muscle. It is a muscle that you've got to train and work at. And eventually you'll have the power to overcome the negative habits through willpower, because your willpower will be strong enough. Just as like when you start off at the gym or start off at anything you're doing, it eventually happens, you get stronger and stronger at it, just as your willpower gets stronger and stronger at overcoming negative habits. And to the point, if any negative habits ever creep in again, you'll always have the willpower to overcome them. And that's understanding about habits and how you can overcome them, and what control they have in your life, and how the power of habits. So there's a lot to it, but there's lots of tips and tricks that help you make it easier to overcome and to have it. So we're going to be making a lot more of these videos for this training series to help you with your personal development goals. Well, that's all for now. But until next time, just leave a comment below on what you like the most, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the next episode of Harry's Highlights.